Good morning. This is Adabai Chiputnana FM Akura. Welcome on this special interview program. My name is Michael today. And my guest this morning is a special advisor to the President on Public Communications and Orientation, a former minister in Nigeria, Sunday Director. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. Ekaro.
Well, today we'll be talking about happenings in Ondo State as regards the big event built for November 16th. You've been a bona fide member of the ruling party for years, the APC, and the incumbent governor of Ondo State is a candidate of that political party. How easy is it for your party to sell the manifestos of the governor of Ondo State, because most Nigerians believe the economy is bad and that candidate is not really sellable?
Well, I think the candidate of the APC, Governor Aiyedatiwa, Lucky, his manifesto and his agenda is already sold. And that can be validated by not just his performance in about a year, but also the performance of the APC in the past 8 years. All politics, they say, is local. But also you see the connection between his efforts and the larger renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And I'm sure on this program, we will reel out a few statistics. Of course, I also know there's a lot of information out there. Mm-hmm. The president has been clear from the get-go that this job will require every Nigerian to get on board. The work to fix Nigeria will require understanding, patience, and support. And whatever we're going through now as a country is due to the changes that we need to make in order to get Nigeria working again. There is a connection, like I said earlier on, in terms of the reforms at the national level, but also at the state level we're seeing reforms. And reforms ordinarily are not negative in its entirety. Reforms are meant to bring about positive changes, acceleration of development, but no reforms or changes come without adjustments and pains. So I think that the manifesto, the agenda of His Excellency Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa is sold already. It's sold, and the people believe that this is the governor for this time.
Okay, well, having said that, I'm aware that campaign started before now, and a lot of individuals are still campaigning for the governor. Now, Ondo State people really believe that having spent over 10 months in office as governor, former deputy governor, acting governor, now governor, he's been able to move around local governments, trying to sell messages, the lucky message, some call it. But some individuals, aside the members of the opposition parties, there are so many electorate in Ondo State who are not partisan in politics, believe that some legacies of late governor Akeredolu has been abandoned by the governor of Ondo State. How true is that?
Well, I think sometimes we're quick to judgment. And from experience, I'm also an investigative journalist. I deal with hard facts. I don't deal with sentiments. So when we have this allegation out there, we need some level of data, some level of survey to prove that. That's one. Two, beyond what some people, like you say, have asserted, you know, what happens normally is that you have just one glass. Some see the cup half full, others see the cup half empty, yet you're speaking to the same cup. So it depends from which angle you're coming. But I come from the angle of the conviction that governance is a continuum. His Excellency Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa has not abandoned projects by the late Governor Akeredolu. But you know that when you're in the saddle, faced with limited resources, faced with competing challenges, as a governor, you also have to prioritize. That's why you're governor. You just don't get there and then you don't interrogate. You don't look at the facts before you. So, I think the allegation of abandonment is spurious, is not fact-based. And when you just look at what is going on right now, the recruitment of 2,000 teachers in the state, you look at the light up Akure, over 1,000 streetlight poles. You look at 5 billion paid to pensioners, arrears that are owed before. You look at 1.2 billion infrastructure grant to University of Medical Sciences, Ondo. 1 billion grant to Agagu University. You look at the young people, about 650 that have been employed, and the plan for continued engagement. Which of these policies are not people-oriented or impactful? They're touching on infrastructure, you're talking on youth empowerment, you're talking on education. These are key issues every government should be concerned about. Education, health, infrastructure, youth empowerment, road construction. These are the key issues any government should be concerned with. So when you have a governor who is in the saddle, who is touching on this key, whether at the federal or state, governments around the world, these are constant. And you have a governor that is focused on these key ones. What else do you expect? So I think that allegation, we're in a political environment, it's election season, so some of this is expected. But I think this governor, there's a difference between being a deputy governor and a governor. You know that?
Yeah, sure.
All right. I think this governor has done well in 10, 11 months. This governor has his eyes on the ball, focused on what Ondo State and its people need, and is at work to bring that about.
Okay, now, you as a former minister, youth development and sports in Nigeria, what role you think Ondo State youth should play come 16th November?
I think the youth of this state quite active because I've, as a Minister of Youth and Sports, the first largest youth audience I spoke to was here in Ondo State. There was a conference of youth from across Africa, was hosted by late Governor Akeredolu, and I was called to speak. So the youth in this state have robust minds, hugely talented with massive potentials. And I think already they are playing a role. But I think the role they need to further play is to espouse the policies of this government as against our competitors. I don't want to mention names of parties here, but we have about 16 or 17 other parties. Their role is central for every election that's conducted. We often say the future belongs
To the youth.
But I dare say that future starts now, because the government that you vote for to stay in power must be a government that has the youth in sight, a government that has a plan for the youth, a government that has demonstrably in the past years moved to engage the youth in terms of empowerment, in terms of employment, in terms of training. And when you go around this state, don't forget that late Governor Akeredolu and the current governor ran on the same ticket. And some of the landmarks you see and the engagements and activities around the youth, the hub that you have, were programs put together by the late governor and the current governor. So I think my call to the youth, a shout out to the youth is that, we need to be vigilant when it comes to these elections. But also we need to get off our smartphones and go out there and vote. We're eligible voters. Voting counts. Your vote counts. Your single vote counts. So we need to also spread the word. And I think they've been doing it. But the last 4 days, that's going to be the final push. We expect that the youth will get up front on campaign grounds. They would knock on doors. They would do neighbor to neighbor. The programs of Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa, simplistic, but these are programs that are impactful already. And you need this governor to continue to make sure that these programs provide the expected outcomes that are required for the sake of the people of Ondo State and for its development.
Having said that, if you just tuning in, this is at about 80.9 FM Accra. This is a special interview program. My guest is our special advisor to Mr. President on Public Communications and Orientation, Sunday Diary. We're talking about Ondo State elections, November 16th. Now, some political experts in Nigeria believe that vote buying has come to stay, and that every political party in Nigeria are the ones purchasing votes on an election day. Is your party thinking in that direction to get more votes?
Well, the party, the APC, based on the testimonials, based on the work it's done, expects that Ondo people will vote for it. The APC's mind is not set on vote buying. That would not be necessary. Absolutely unnecessary. Look at the history of Ondo politics. It's about performance. It's about stewardship. It's about a leader who is willing to serve the people. And I think that there's no way we can discuss this election without talking about our late governor, blessed memory, Rotimi Akeredolu, and also the current governor. They ran on the same ticket. And also when I hear, Lucky Aiyedatiwa is abandoning projects that Akeredolu started, you know what it is. It's just some people trying to pull some political stunts. We know that is not true. So I think the question of vote buying, of course, we find it in every clime. Even the last United States election, Elon Musk was offering people how much? $1,000 in plain sight. America is the bastion of democracy in the world. $1,000 in plain sight. If anybody in this country had come out to say, I will give you 1 million naira to vote, we will all be up in arms, attacking INEC and the rest. But then, that's their own issue. But I can say for sure that the votes that will be earned on Saturday, November 16th, by Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa, those votes will be earned based on the performance of APC. That's one. It will be based also on visible impact that has been made in the lives of the people of Ondo State. But more importantly, those votes will be based on the confidence that the people of this state have in this governor and in our party APC. The expectations are there, but also the ducks are lined up to make sure that the renewed hope agenda finds place in this state, as it is doing across the country.
Do you think that's achievable come November 16th?
You mean victory?
Do you think all of these you just highlighted is achievable for your party come November 16th?
Absolutely. November 16th is just the election. The work of uplifting the people of Ondo State, the work of infrastructural development, the work of empowerment, the work of growth and development has been ongoing under the watch of the APC. There are milestones that have been achieved. there are projections of what will be achieved, which is why the people of Ondo State must keep this governor in power so that what has been started is not short-circuited by political distractors and those that do not offer any better alternative. There is a plug-in by this state and by this governor to the Renewed Hope agenda. And we're quite familiar with the Renewed Hope agenda, what it promises in terms of housing, in terms of infrastructure, youth empowerment, etc. And let me say, for all time, there is a sense that if your party is the party at the center and the party at the state level is also the same party. I'm not saying that this president has not shown any discrimination because he's the president of the country. But that the APC as a ruling party wants to penetrate not just at the federal level, but also at the state level so that there is a rapid development across the length and breadth of our country. And I think for Ondo State, it will be no different.
Okay, many talked about core characteristics of good governance, and when an event like this comes up, people will start to think about the priorities of the governor, who is saddled with the responsibility of governing the state so well. Some would say the top priority of a governor should be education. Some talk about infrastructure, health, and all of that. What should be the set priorities of Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa if he wins?
Let me say that come November 16, I am an optimist, an incurable optimist at that. APC will retain power in Ondo State. Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa will win that election. And that is not an empty boast, because we can see in plain sight achievements, landmark achievements. We can see a steady and consistent application of the resources of the state, and also the focus of the government in providing what is needed by the state in terms of infrastructure, in terms of health, in terms of youth development, in terms of also agriculture. You know that in this state, agriculture is a mainstay. When you also back up and you do reviews, you will see on paper these programs and policies well enunciated and laid out with clear milestones. So, you may want to ask, what is the agenda? What is the priority of Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa? I think it has a people-oriented agenda. The people form the focus and the cornerstone of his government. Having said that, you now start to drill down in what ways, what will be the major focus. And it bears repeating here. A focus on agriculture, making sure that roads that are needed in the hinterland to bring the products, farm products, out to the markets, critical. We know that has been the bane of agricultural development in this country. We recall with nostalgia the days and the years and decades of commodity boards. But right now we know clearly that most of our agri-products actually just waste away. Now, it's planned to have roads into the hinterlands. That is major. That's one. Two, you look at his investment in education. I just read out some data. Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu repeatedly says that the only cure, the only weapon against poverty is education. And not just education, quality education. We have a governor who is concerned about the quality of education and is applying state resources in that direction. Beyond that, you look at infrastructure, road construction, providing the lights that are necessary for our roads. You look at security. You look at health, the health sector. So I think that we have abundance of evidence to know the direction the APC government in Ondo State is headed. And I think the only way we can stay on course is to return Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa back to the government house to continue with the work that he's doing already.
Okay, you made mention of education. At the moment, you did say that the president talked about how we can end poverty, and that's education. At the moment in Ondo State, we have 1,248 public primary schools and 307 public secondary schools. Most of these schools are dilapidated. And in 10 months, we've not really seen much the governor did in terms of improving these facilities so we can have a better education in Ondo State. Are you saying when he becomes the governor, that's when attention will be?
He's already the governor right now, and he's been governor. He's been governor for 11 years.
11 months.
11 months. Sorry, 11 months. Let me correct that. When you look at education, it's beyond the brick and mortar.
Okay.
It's beyond, and I'm not saying that it's not important. I know that there are plans, resources will be applied to fixing these schools on an incremental basis. But beyond the structures that we have, you must also invest in the number of teachers that you have. We see the recruitment taking place with TESCOM that shows the governor that is focused. So there's the brick and mortar, the building. There are the teachers that we need that are qualified to come in. And I can tell you, it might not be to the quantum that we expect, but schools are actually being renovated across the state. And when you look at it across almost every state in this country, that is a constant demand for schools to be renovated. But I think beyond the renovation of schools, and I'm glad that is going on in this state, and I'm sure that given the opportunity for another 4 years, this governor will continue to prioritize education, but not just the brick and mortar of it, but making sure that they bring on good teachers, expand the pool of teachers that will teach our young people, which is also critical. Clearly, like I said earlier, education is on the priority list of Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa. And I think we should expect to see an acceleration in the renovation of schools across the state. The government is aware of this. They have the data, but also the resources are limited. Sometimes we are under the assumption that these resources are unlimited. But when you deal with the files, when you're confronted with the facts, you will have to now decide on the percentage you will give. Don't forget, beyond the internal generated revenue, there's also the money that comes in from FARC every month. A larger percentage of that money, I don't know the percentage in Ondo State, goes to paying salaries. So most governors are left with a limited percentage to apply across board. And I think that I know there's a new internal revenue service, new employment, about 165 people have been employed. There's an expansion. There are programs to increase the IGR in this state. And I think as that increases, it complements whatever comes from the federal government. We will see, we will feel the impact under this governor.
Okay, now a bit of party politics. Now, I'm aware last Sunday you watched the debate between the candidate of your party and that of the PDP. And after that debate, what exactly came to your mind? You think your candidate actually passed a very good message that will have a very good effect or impact on electorates come November 16th?
Absolutely. I think Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa hit a home run. That platform was a bully pulpit. I think until he had the opportunity of that debate, a lot of people were still on the sidelines. But with that debate, he hit a home run. He was able to draw a clear distinction between himself and...
You saying this because you're a member of his...
No, absolutely. And I tell you, I have 32 years of journalism experience. I have a critical mind. And I've followed not just Ondo politics. I've seen several debates. And I can just, from watching the debate, because look at the American politics. Debate is defining, because that's when you expose your ideas. You also knock out certain, whether it's rumors or... So he had that opportunity.
What was defining on Sunday in that particular debate?
First, he was able to clear the air on a few things, because it's an era of politics.
Okay, a few things like what?
We know out there people have talked about a number of things about his certificate, or he cannot perform. This is a man that was able to respond with clarity to the questions that came to him. That's one. The governor also showed familiarity with the development and the developmental challenges of Ondo State. It showed the governor that was comfortable and that was at work and ready for the work ahead. There was a lot of poise. There was a lot of connection. There was also a lot of resonance with the people. And I think that is important. You just don't only need a governor that is confident at the wheels, but a governor that is familiar with the terrain and at home with his people. Let me tell you, yesterday, I know that I went with the governor. We went to Ondo West. We drove through the markets, which was deliberate. It's a test of your popularity. We drove, before we got to the Obos Palace, we drove through the markets. We saw ordinary people just troop out endlessly, trekking for 3 kilometers along the path of the governor's convoy. And I asked, I said, so these people are trekking 3 kilometers and then they will trek back another 3 kilometers. There must be something in this government or in this governor. And that's it. That's what politics is about. I think that there's a connection with the people. The people realize that this is someone they can trust.
Does that translate to votes on election day?
Well, to a large extent, when the votes you get is just beyond people on the streets, but also the need to get the votes out. People might believe in you, but you need to get them out to vote. But at this point, we are confident. And that confidence is backed up by the work that has been done, and the work that will be done if Lucky Adetewa gets another 4 years.
Okay, now, back to the debate. You think the governor was able to highlight how best development will come to Ondo State people if given the chance when he was actually talking?
Absolutely. Don't forget that the debate it just gives you a limited opportunity. It's not like a 4-hour, 5-hour debate.
Yeah.
It's also determined to a large extent by the questions that are posed. There is a sense in realizing that this governor is not just only in the saddle, but the fact that he has been a deputy governor prior. He has been part of the policies of APC government in Ondo State. Right now I'm focusing on the APC candidate, who is the sitting governor. That's my focus.
Okay.
Because we have an election to win. And we want to let people know that this is a man that is familiar with the terrain. This is a man that also has a team on board that are familiar with the terrain. You can check the resumes of those that are working with him. They've been in the politics of this state for 2 decades and thereafter, but also quite a number of young people. I don't want to get down to the specifics because we put so much out there on radio, on television, and also the campaigns that is going on around the state. This is somebody that is not a stranger to the people of this state. This is somebody that we have evidence that in 10, 11 months, he has shown clearly that he's ready for this job and is capable. And that's why another 4 years for His Excellency Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa will be the right choice for the people of Ondo State, so that we can enjoy that continuity that work that started from His Excellency the late Governor Rotimi Arakunrin Akeredolu, for the benefit of the people of the state.
How is your party trying to bring back aggrieved party leaders who were not too happy with the outcome of your promise months ago?
Well, you talk about aggrieved party leaders. The outcome of any election will leave some people unhappy, will leave some people quite happy, will leave some people aggrieved. But there's an internal party mechanism that reaches out to those that are aggrieved. And I think that has been going on successfully. I can't say beyond that. Ultimately,
which you're not sure if it's going to yield results.
You can't win everybody. We know quite a number of them have returned. Quite a number of them have returned. Okay. Again, when you have primaries and elections, someone is going to win. Someone will be unhappy, even if it's absolutely clear. But what is the hallmark of democracy? I think we saw that on November 5th. You look at the campaign run by Kamala Harris, you look at the campaign run by the President-elect Donald Trump. Just imagine the tension, the bitterness that came through. But the moment a president-elect emerged, Kamala Harris says, it is time. She said something that's very defining. This is not the outcome we expected, but we will soldier on because America matters. And beyond that, you had former President Obama and the rest. You even had President Biden coming on 2 days ago to give and it was all about, yes, America matters. I think Ondo State matters, and our party members understand that beyond the acrimonies, if somebody has emerged for the sake of the party and the mass of the people, they must line up. That's the hallmark of democracy. That's the way to go. And I think that, like I said, the internal party processes have since kicked into motion. I know quite a number of the members are back, and I think that most of them are part of this effort to make sure that Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa is voted back for another 4 years.
Well, I've been able to ask a few questions from party members, APC members, who've been with the governor each time he moves around local governments to campaign, to sell his manifestos to the people of Ondo State. How it's been so easy to sell the Lucky message. They've been able to tell me why it's been so easy for the governor. A part of what they told me was what you highlighted. Now, November 16th is near. Is he redoubling efforts, or he is still so confident that he's coasting to victory? Because most of them would tell you the governor is confident he's going to win. Where the confidence is coming from, I don't know.
Okay, let me say this. Nobody enters a race to lose.
Okay.
That's one. The mere fact that I am even in this studio today and in the state since yesterday, and I've seen several other people come and go, shows that we believe that the APC has something to offer. Let me say clearly, there's no complacency here. If there is, this governor will not be campaigning from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. He will just be sitting in government house and receiving visitors. I told you yesterday we had a stretch. We had right from the morning, they signed the Father Kuka Center, they signed the document yesterday. We went to Arcade where the Agbekoyas, the farmers here endorsed him. We moved in the convoy to Ondo West. We went to the palace and around. And I think it did not return back until 10, 11 last night. Now, so there's no complacency. at all. That's one. Two, you have seen his campaign program, consistent, touching base with every local government, touching base with the people. So, if this somebody that is overconfident, that won't happen. That's one. Two, on this campaign, he has carried his message out to the people, because it's important to let the people understand that there is a program, there are policies that this governor will continue, and that it will make sure that these policies are impactful. So I believe very strongly that the efforts and achievements of the past, the ongoing efforts that is making, and the promise of delivering the best for our people, that is where our confidence also comes from. Because you also need a bit of confidence on this journey. It's like a boxer entering the ring. If you're without confidence, you have lost even before the first blow. So there's a bit of confidence, because we can point to landmarks of what he has done. We can point to ongoing projects. We can point to a program of saying these are the things that we will still do if we're back in power.
Okay. Your party in short, Honorable Sunday Dare. Your party.
The APC, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, the APC.
Yeah, APC.
All Progressive Congress.
Your party in short.
Our party.
Your party in short. We need to round up now. So, your message to Ondo State electorates ahead of that D-Day, November 16th.
Well, let me start from the fact that the All Progressive Congress was formed by statesmen and leaders of our country who decided to bury their different political identities into one single party with a clear manifesto to renew the hopes of Nigerians, but also to place Nigeria firmly on the path of progressive development. These leaders are progressives, from Chibisi Akonde to our dear President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to Olusegun Oshoba, to late Governor, former Minister of Science and Technology. The list is a long one. The leader of our party currently, Alhaji Ganduje. I can go on. These are leaders, former President Muhammadu Buhari. These are leaders who buried their other identities to form a solid political party. Not an alliance like we used to know, but a merger, because all alliances in the past in this country are falling apart, but a merger. And for the first time in the annals of our history in this country, they were able to dislodge a ruling party that had been in power for 16 months. So I take a leap from there and come to the fact that this is a party with progressive ideals. This is a party that has been at work to rewrite the Nigerian story, but also take on those difficult reforms that are necessary. When you look at the history of other countries, there are epochs in their development, and you will find epochs such as we are witnessing, where reforms are taking place, people are making adjustments, but the government stays the course to make sure that we fix what is necessary. So I want to say that the APC as a party is progressive in orientation. The APC as a party at the state and federal level have leaders who apply themselves on a constant basis to the challenges of development. Yes, it's not yet El Dorado, but we know that there's continued efforts in that direction. Now let me bring it close on. We've had the APC in power here. We've seen landmarks of development. We've seen engagement. You know, sometimes the grass is always green on the other, looks green on the other side. But I want to tell voters, this is your party. The APC is your party. There's no other alternative out there. It is the APC. And it's important that we go out, we vote in this party, we vote in this governor, and give him the victory that is necessary, the victory that he has earned already, and give him another 4 years to develop this state.
Well, thank you so very much. That brings us to the end of this special interview program. My guest, Special Advisor to the President, Public Communications and Orientation, Honorable Sunday Dye, thank you so much for coming. I wish your party and your candidates the very best come November 16th.
Thank you, Adaba FM.
My name is Michael Akintunde. Bye now.
Yes.